renovated, and producing revenue. I will give you respect and the representation we do not have now. For the youth, after our victory, for your voter participation. It's all white everything this spring in celebration of the Passover. Like President Obama said in his last address, we do big things. Vote Rodney Roberts on March 8th.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Councilman Thomas?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Wells. Thank you also to the Urban League young professionals for hosting this. My name is Cedric Thomas. I am your current representative in District 3. Just a little brief minute about my work history. I was employed here as a police officer for 5 years. I then left and came to the city council, and that's where I've been working and serving you since. I do own my own transportation company where I provide a total transportation experience for you. However you need to get there, my company is willing to take you. The things that we've done here in the city, from bringing in new businesses, i.e. Publix, new infrastructure, you see that road work is going on, you see that there are things that are moving. There's no secret that we've done a lot, but we also have a lot to do. Experience matters, experience counts, and I provide that level of leadership for you in a relentless manner. I will fight, I will continue to fight, I will make sure that jobs come, I'll make sure that our employees, have a conducive benefit plan that keeps them here. I will make sure that our residents are more informed of the issues that we have surrounding your water bills and your light bills and different things that the city controls. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. In line with the opening statement of Mr. Roberts, how do each of you feel about the non-televising of public comments? Do you think that should remain, or that should be changed? And we'll start with you, Mr. Roberts.
I feel it's disrespectful to freedom of speech, freedom of expression. I feel that when you cut things out that you may deem bad, as it relates to public comments, you're also cutting out what is good. And we can't afford to censor people or silence the good with the bad. You have to raise them up, the wheat and the tares. People at home can decipher what they want to turn off and what they want to keep on. That's how I feel about it.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Councilman Thomas?
I happen to not be on the dais when that came up. I'm sure we're going to discuss it on Wednesday night. However, there's two parts to this. I don't want to censor anything. I do believe that it should be a campaign-free zone. So often we have business that we need to conduct, and we want to attract business in. But when you have individuals that come to the mic for their own selfish reasons, just to, cause confusion or make someone laugh or entertain somebody, I'm not really interested in that. I want that podium to be used for expressing what we need, wholesome public events that maybe need to be announced. But I do want it to, stop being theatrics, because if we are serious about business, then we need to show the individuals who are looking that we're serious about business.
Thank you. Mr. Polk?
Yes. First of all, you have a council that has sued its citizens, didn't want to give them the right to help make a decision with their properties. Then they turn around and say, oh, we don't like what you're saying, so we don't want the public to hear. When you take away people's right, the people get angry. The citizens of Riviera Beach are suffering because of bad decisions by our leadership that squandered our money and is willing to give away our assets for little or nothing when they're worth millions of dollars. So the citizens need to know what's going on That way, they know who to blame when it happens.
Thank you. There have been a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of highly televised and highly publicized murders in the city of Riviera Beach since the beginning of this year. What's your plan to protect the citizens of Riviera Beach and make it a safer place to live? And we'll start with you, Councilman Thomas.
There have been, I believe it's 3 this year so far, and that's unfortunate. You know, our police department, they do a very good job. I've served in that department. I know that the training is there. I know that the proactive measures, you know, are there. The conflict resolution skill has not been utilized in those particular murders. We have to educate one another, and that's just not a police or city problem. That's, you know, a community issue where we have to learn that, you know, violence only begets violence, and we need to, you know, put more into the education process of conflict resolution. That's our plan.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Paul?
When you have the feeling that there's nothing for them, and they turn on one another wanting to take their things because there's no jobs, they begin to be hopeless. So what we have to do is come together and start putting more programs to educate and train our youth where they will have hope. Because everybody wants to have something nice to wear. Everybody wants to be able to go out and enjoy themselves. But when you don't have a job, then you don't have hope. And I think that's a lot of the problem that's we have right now.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Roberts?
You have to teach and educate that guns are non-forgiving weapons. You have to teach and educate that once someone's gone, you can't bring them back. You have to teach and educate that you have your whole life ahead of you, and one decision will take that all away from you. You have to take these young men and young women and put them perhaps on one of Mr. Thomas's buses and take them to a facility where you have hundreds and hundreds of young black boys and girls locked up behind bars so that they understand what happens when you make decisions like that. You have to show them that, hey, you're right on television, because we do have our cameras going on, and it's not you're going to get away with it thing. So all those together will help right now.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Do you think that the residents of Riviera Beach understand and appreciate the issues that are facing the city? And if not, do you have any ways to implement a plan to get them to understand exactly what the issues are that are facing the city? And we'll start with Mr. Paul.
I think they're starting to understand it because of the fact that they're so stressed with the taxes. They realize now that the water bill is going to be going up every year for 10 years. They're talking about a fire tax. And they are wondering where they're going to get the money to do this. We got a big unemployment. So it's going to be difficult to solve the problem because of no jobs. The thing is, we're going to have to go back and renegotiate a lot of things because there's no money. And when you renegotiate things, then you have money to do stuff because you can't tax anybody no more when you're taxed to the max.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Roberts?
I will push for quarterly meetings with your district constituents so that there's always information and understanding being had between the city council representatives and your constituents.